Namaste, Assalamu alaikum, Shalom, Mir, Jai Janindra, Satnam, Ni Hao, Buenos Dias, Buenos Tardes, Hithchi, Konnichiwa, Sabadikrap, Salangwa, Esh, Agape, Akwaba, Welkomen. What up, though? This is a consideration. We are in the field, outside the refugee camp. Witness the gate and sharing a consideration. The consideration is what is across the street. It is a field. And the consideration is how the field is shared. So I am informally informed that the land across the street is stewarded by the Danish military. The Danish military holds the title for the land across the street. And given the considerations, the conditions, the circumstances of the moment, this is the consideration. How poignant it is for the Danish military to transfer title of the land to the effective interreligious council of Denmark, within the auspices, as I understand, if I'm accurate, of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, meaning that there is an interreligious council officially of Denmark, and that the council sits within the auspices of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for Denmark. So, how poignant it would be, how poignant it is for the Danish military to transfer the title of this land to the religious council, the interreligious council of Denmark. And how poignant it is for the Interreligious Council of Denmark, within the auspices of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, to lease this land to our eco village, micro community for 1,000 families, 1,000 families, as a refuge for mixed heritage world citizens. That's basically the gist. Further considerations, further details. The area of land stretches approximately 200 meters from the road to the perimeter of trees that you see behind. Generally, let's see, on this stretch, if you look towards where that bus stop is and continuing straight in that direction, it's about 200 and averages that distance along the perimeter there, extending perhaps as much as 300 meters, perhaps even further towards that section behind me directly, and then continuing on. So that would be the width, the length that runs parallel across the road from about that position where you see the tree and continuing behind the bigger tree behind the bus stop, and all along here it's likely around 600 to 700 meters, so a little less than a kilometer. But if we average it as about a kilometer, 1,000 meters, with an average width of 200 meters, that would be mathematics, about 20 hectares, if my mathematics is accurate. And so that is visibly and mathematically a legitimate area for 1,000 families to live safely and comfortably. Consideration is establishing living quarters, obviously, but comprehensive facilities for a community, off-grid, emphasizing vertical construction, preferably employing passive house construction in an inappropriate manner. Modest size family dwellings, emphasis on communal spaces within residential facilities. In terms of, water collection, in terms of water being off-grid, primarily, there's uncertainty about any deposits of water beneath the ground, any wells or springs, for that matter. My knowledge of the land is comparatively modest, and obviously, when working with land, it's very appropriate to know what the land is, what's the history, what are the conditions. So my knowledge of that is comparatively modest. This is a consideration of what is poignant, and this is an example of an iteration of the manifestation of eco-village micro-communities for 1,000 families here in Denmark and across the earth. So energy, renewable energy. However, the wind is prevalent here in Denmark. The challenge, though, is that there's so many beautiful birds here. So the big propellers is other than an option. So this requires some further investigation to discern the appropriate methodology of electricity, of garnering recyclable or renewable energy, organic kind of sort of energy, electricity. Solar with the burn here is another option, but wind is probably the most favorable. Again, less awareness about geothermal potentiality, but running water is less of applicable at the moment from my knowledge. Again, comparatively modest. What would be done with the land? Again, it's a village. It's a typical residential community. However, as is the case with our eco-villages that we developed for the past many years, decades, there is a service that we provide to the immediate community surrounding us here in Denmark, to the regional community, and also to our international community. And so in this scenario, the service that our eco-village micro-community for 1,000 families provides for kinfolk here in Denmark, as well as the EU and our Earth community, is specifically education for world citizenship, sharing the song, stories, rituals, and ethics of the Earth in the context of, or with the purpose of enhancing the skills, the knowledge of Danish kinfolk and of immigrant kinfolk, of earth-wide kinfolk, in being at harmony with each other. That is the speciality that we share, the service that we provide, the benefit that we share with kinfolk here in Denmark, the EU, and Earth. The lease agreement, 50-year renewable, per the international standard for providing such space to a foreign entity, and with some form of memorandum of understanding agreement, however it is appropriate. We can contract with other agencies in establishing the infrastructure and in continuing the construction and implementing the actuality of residents within our eco-village micro-community for 1,000 families. That includes contracting and receiving investment grants and additional contributions from Danish, EU, and international agencies, the United Nations, the United States, particularly within the context of culture and advancement, as well as education and peace building. So allocating a percentage, a very small percentage of the vast amount of monies and the vast further amount of monies that are available, the vast amount of monies that are invested already and that are earmarked for culture and advancement, peace building, and education, and then the much further vast amount of monies that are available for culture and advancement, peace building, and education. So that is that. One speciality that we provide in this scenario is a specific program, a certificate program for immigrants and refugees for world citizenship, with a dual primary purpose. One is to provide, again, just the skill set and knowledge of being a world citizen, a literacy about civilization, even just basic language skills, and cultural diplomacy, and communication, just as world citizens, but then also particularly as immigrants and refugees in Denmark, how being established as a world citizen makes immigrants and refugees further secure and comfortable in acclimating to Danish society, learning Danish language and Danish culture, whilst retaining one's own individual heritage, language, tradition, the balance of world citizenship, and then the appropriateness of Danish acculturation. So that's the program, the speciality, how to do that, and that it is. So some other thoughts, additional details of process. I mentioned the poignancy of the Danish military, the Danish interreligious council in the auspices of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and it brokered, introduced, negotiated from, with, by, for the Danish Church, perhaps with additional consultation with additional agencies like the EU interreligious entity or agency, the name of it escapes me at the moment, as well as additional international interfaith organizations like Religions for Peace, and additionally. So it's very doable, very accessible, very appropriate. For the benefit of all involved. So that is a consideration. Namaste, assalamu alaikum, shalom, mir, jai janindra, satnam, zaijian, adios, chihtaklis, sayonara, metta samadhi, salangwa pyongwa, eshwa sol, agape ke irini, asimpe na asamuje, kela ufred. One love and peace, happiness, liberation.